Hey, political enthusiasts! Welcome to Shadows of Power, CIA's Covert Operations in the Caribbean, 1900 to 1990. Let's dive into the shadowy world of U.S. intelligence and their secret missions in the Caribbean. First up, the Platt Amendment of 1901. This gave the U.S. the right to intervene in Cuban affairs, setting the stage for future covert ops. Then, the U.S. occupation of Haiti from 1915 to 1934. Covert intelligence activities were rampant to keep control and suppress resistance. The United Fruit Company, ever heard of them? From the 1900s to the 1950s, they worked closely with U.S. intelligence to protect American economic interests. Moving to the Dominican Republic, the CIA was active during the Trujillo dictatorship. They even played a role in his assassination in 1961. Now, let's talk about the Cuban Revolution from 1953 to 1959. The CIA closely monitored Fidel Castro's rise to power, but failed to prevent the establishment of a communist government in Cuba. This led to the infamous Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961, a failed CIA-sponsored invasion by Cuban exiles aiming to overthrow Castro. Operation Mongoose from 1961 to 1963, another covert effort to destabilize and overthrow Castro, involving sabotage and assassination attempts. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 was perhaps the peak of Cold War tensions, with the CIA playing a pivotal role in identifying Soviet missile sites in Cuba. Fast forward to 1979, the CIA monitored the Marxist Revolution in Grenada, which led to Operation Urgent Fury in 1983. The U.S. invasion was justified by CIA intelligence about a growing communist threat. In Guatemala, the CIA supported the 1954 coup against President Jacobo Arbenz, fearing the spread of communism. Puerto Rico wasn't left out either. From the 1950s to the 1970s, the CIA conducted surveillance and covert operations against Puerto Rican independence movements. During the Dominican Civil War in 1965, the CIA intervened to prevent a communist takeover. Che Guevara's assassination in 1967, the CIA had a hand in tracking and capturing this key figure of the Cuban Revolution in Bolivia. Operation Northwoods in 1962, though never executed, involved proposed false flag attacks to justify military intervention in Cuba. The CIA backed various Caribbean dictatorships from the 1950s to the 1980s to counter leftist movements. Long-term efforts to destabilize Cuba economically and politically continued from the 1960s to the 1990s. Allegations of CIA involvement in Caribbean narcotics trafficking in the 1980s were part of broader Cold War strategies. The Haitian coup of 1986 saw CIA activities around the downfall of dictator Jean-Claude Baby Doc Duvalier. And as the Cold War ended in 1990, the CIA shifted focus in the Caribbean, reassessing strategies and winding down operations against Cuba. That's a wrap, folks. The CIA's covert operations significantly influenced the Caribbean's political landscape throughout the 20th century. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the shadows of power.